The squeeze is definitely on, and motorhome dealer forecourts are becoming saturated. So let's take a dive in and do a May market update and find out what's going on. Welcome back to the channel, and we promised you a May update, and I want to cover three things in this month's vlog. I'm going to look a little bit at new prices and what is happening with the 2025 models and the discounting that's coming through. I'm going to take a little look at what dealers are really doing with their May offers and their sales, and then we'll take a little look at the spreadsheet and see what's happening to the used prices. Is anything occurring in that part of the market too? You might be quite surprised with what we find. Well, we're well into the middle of May, and the dealers are certainly well stocked with their 2025 models from the manufacturers. And what we are seeing are a number of dealers already discounting some of the big brands. It's interesting taking a look across some of the dealer websites, because even some new models to the market for 2025 are already hitting that discount point. A good example of this is Don Amott, and I'm going to show you their website and what they're already discounting with the new Bailey Adamo XL models. They've just been launched, they're fresh onto the market, but you can already find yourself a better price on those than what was launched. Now, we had a similar picture with this with the Allura models, if you remember, at the back end of last year, and there's still quite a good stock of the Allura models sitting on dealers now. Is this a lack of popularity of Bailey's? Has something happened to put people off, or is it simply there's nothing fresh enough from them as a manufacturer? So I'm going to walk you through a couple of dealers' websites and show you some of those discounts on the 2025. So this is the website from Don Amott, just to start us off, and as you can see, these are their new vehicles. Straight up then, the 4 Series Voyager, brand new, the new style, the new graphics, the new fabrics inside, £11,000 saving off a 2025 model. As we scroll through, you will find further examples of these in the 5 Series look with £9,000 off. The Auto Trail XL, there's been quite a few of these sitting around in dealers, perhaps not proving as popular as a compact as they hoped. £10,000 saving there, look, on a 2025 model. £11,000 off an Eldis, again 2025. We've then got a Trekker look with £7,000 off, again 2025. The Auto Trail Expedition, this is on the new Fiat cab look with a £2,000 saving. And then we get into the Adamos, so standard Adamo, £6,000 off the 69.4. Further savings on Eldis and Auto Trail. Got another Auto Quest there, the 6 berth look with £11,000 off. The Campers from Auto Trail. And then we get into further Adamos, depending on the size and model, with £5,000 off. Swift Carrera on the new Fiat Ducato look with £8,000 off. An Escape from Swift, this is the 640, £7,000 off. The new shape, the 2025. Another Voyager, and here we go, look, Bailey Adamo, the XLI. So this is the island bed, this is the brand new layout for the Adamo, and already there is a £5,000 discount off that. More Voyagers, Endeavours with discounts. Another Adamo. And then the Adamo XLI again, look, another island bed one with £5,000 off. The DL, which is the End Lounge XL with £5,000 off. And I think this is just showing that there is some real pressure on to shift some of these vehicles right now. So if you really are looking for some money off new ones, I'd make a beeline for Don Amott at the minute, because they've got a really good selection of the New Year models. So let's do a quick look at Brownhills as well then. So here's a good example, picking up on those Auto Trail XLs again. So a couple of models here, look, saving of £10,000 and £12,000 on these two here. We've then got a load of their Eldis Evolutions. Remember, the Evolution is the Brownhills dealer special from Eldis. They've got quite a few of their 60th edition, which are kind of a bridge between 24, 25 with money off. Further examples of the XL. There's a few Swifts here as well in amongst these, like an Ascari here, for example, with £8,500. You've got another one of those 4 Series Voyagers, like the one we've just shown you at Don Amott, with an £8,500 saving. Quite a few of those dealer special Evolutions there, look. You've then got further examples of the XLs, another £6,500 saving. So here's another example of the discounts on 2024 and in the main some 2025 models that are coming through. So given what I've just explained to you there about the 2025 models being discounted, here comes the first squeeze. There are a number of 2024 unregistered models sitting all over the UK, and there's still a handful of 2023 vehicles too. So what are dealers going to do with these? Now, if I was in the market of looking for a motorhome right now, and the discounting is already coming through on the 2025 models, and bear in mind here there's been some significant updates, like the Adamo, for example, with its new style cab and its refresh. And also most of the manufacturers have now shifted to the new Fiat 2025 model year Ducato that offers some upgrades on what the previous version was. Which would you choose? Well, I think I know where I'd go. I'd look at the 2025 models. So, what is going to happen to that stock of 2024? Now, there's a good range of these kicking around, and there are bargains to be had. There are savings to be made, if that's a better word for you. But it's interesting what the dealers are doing to try and attract you into their forecourts as well. So, what I'm seeing is a lot of adverts at the minute for sales and offers. We've got the May Madness, we've got spring savings, early bird summer offers, we've got clearance, we've got in-stock offers. Now there's a real mix here, because some of the dealers are just recycling their stock. A good example of this is with Granthams. They're pretty much offering the same discounts on certain models. They just keep repackaging the advertising they're doing. So we had a stock clearance, we had a display model clearance, we've now got a spring clearance. They're the same vehicles. They're still sitting there trying to be sold. So have a good look if you are looking for one right now. Have a good look at what they can offer. Now, if you really aren't bothered about whether you have the old style Fiat cab or the new one, you might be able to bag yourself a bit more of a saving with one of the 2024 models. Now, here comes the second squeeze. This is all well and good, but because the discounting is now on the 2025, it is also coming through on those old 24 and some 23 kicking round. Some of the used prices are starting to cool down somewhat. So your part exchange, if you're going down that route, is going to cool down a little bit. You might be offered a little bit less. Given that I'm seeing some prices of used vehicles drop, that's certainly going to be the case. Some dealers don't want a lot of the used stock kicking around because they've absolutely got a lot of the new unregistered stuff to shift. But what I'm going to do is take you through our spreadsheet and have a little look at those vehicles that we picked out, and also give you a little bit of an insight into the stock levels and what pattern might be emerging in putting this squeeze onto the used prices. Taking a look at some of the 24 and 25 as a bit of a bridge again then, let's give TMD a shout out. They are main dealers for Adria, Bursner, Eldis and Etrusco. So you can see here they've got some savings on brand new Etruscos, a variety of the A-Class and some of the coach-built versions on the Ford with money off. They've got a few Adrias with some smaller discounts. What they've also got here are a few Bursners. These are the 2024 models that they're sitting on. There's £10,000 off this Sovereign, for example. There's over, almost £12,000 off this Bursner Sovereign 727. There's some money off the Harmony line look in the A-Class, a good saving of over £10,000. Again, almost £7,500 off this Bursner Harmony line, as well as a good stock of their other models that they sell. There are also some Adria's look, again a 24 shape Adria Matrix here, for example, with a £10,000 saving. So there are some real deals that you can get here on stocks right now. So it is worth searching around on some of these websites and having a good poke around and seeing what you can find, even if it might mean a bit of a drive or visiting a different dealer. So let's take a dive into the spreadsheet and look at what's happening in May 2025. So in terms of Adria, there's an increase in the number of used vehicles for sale. So that's gone up a little bit. There's 144 when I took this snapshot on the 20th of May. And with that comes a little cooling in the prices. So there is a supply. There's a good supply of those new. So going back to earlier in this vlog, there's a good number of 23, 24 unregistered models kicking around. That's clearly starting to have a little push down with the used. There's some stability in auto trails. There's a similar number of vehicles for sale this month compared to last month. What is noticeable though is there's a plentiful supply of the Auto Trail Frontier Delawares. Now, loads, absolutely loads of them on that 2018. So you've got a good pick if that's a model that interests you. But as a result, you can see that the prices there have dropped significantly as an average price point for them. Some stability in the trackers in the Amalas where there is less plentiful supply, but also remember those trackers sort of 2019, 2021 onwards, there was less of a supply of them in the system anyway. Interestingly, with Bailey, some prices have tripped up, some prices have tripped down. So very few alliances available at the moment, so prices are holding. If anything, the average price has popped up. The Adamos, there's quite plentiful supply of those 2022 Adamos, so the average price for those has dropped a couple of £1,000s this month, and the autographs seem to be holding. Now there is an interesting picture with Eldis again, fairly stable. There's 358 on forecourts as of 20th of May 2025, so not a lot have shifted in the last month from the used stock. The Encores have dropped in price a little bit as an average price point, as have the Auto Quests. The Accordos, the little one, that seems to be holding though, so not much shift there. And then it brings you on to the Swift. Now this is where you start to see a little movement. There's quite a plentiful supply of the old style Escapes. These were the old sort of white silver cab ones of the 2019 era. A little drop in those, a couple of £1,000 average drop. A small drop in the Contiki Sports, and a less of a drop in the Edge. But you'll notice here that Swift seem to have the biggest used supply. So from April to May, should I say, the overall number of vehicles on forecourts for these that we're looking at and used from 2018 onwards, dealers are sitting on over 5,000 used vehicles, which is up a good 140 or so from where we were in April. So there is a lot of stock sitting there cluttering up dealers. There's a lot for sale. So this is part of that squeeze I'm talking about. If we're starting to see a bigger increase in these sitting around, plus the plentiful supply of the 2024 and the discounting on the 2025, I think it's a double squeeze, and I suspect it could come. We're not here with any affiliation with anyone. We just want you to find the best deal that you can. And a number of our followers on here have been out and done just that. And thanks to some of the research we've started to do, I've been able to find a better deal with their next motorhome. So keep that in mind. I simply don't want you to be spending more money than you need to, or getting a poorer deal than you possibly could, by having a little shop around and a little look at what is really out there. So we are heading off to France at the end of the week, and we will do a little bit of vlogging while we're there. We'll share that with you when we're back. And then I will do you a June update, and we'll see if any of these patterns that we're starting to see are tracking through. Really going to be interested as we get to that halfway through the year point, what is happening. So once again, thank you from the 2 guys, 2 dogs, 4 wheels, and we'll see you in our next video. Take care.